Caritas of Byumba Diocese, through TFT Easily Rwanda, welcomed TFT practitioners from Hawaii in United States of America. These include Pastor Deborah New, Dr. Callan DeFontes, Mrs. Stephanie Sakai, and Dr. Caroline E. Sakai. TFT, which is thought-filled therapy in full, is tapping techniques that late Dr. Roger Callahan invented to treat people suffering from anxiety, anger, depression, stress, trauma, grief, embarrassment, etc. On 5th August 2018, this team from USA, accompanied with Father Augustine Nzabonimana, Director of TFT Israel Rwanda, Father JMV Dushimeyimana, the Director of Caritas of Byumba Diocese, and Miss Adrienne Nahayo, a psychologist and trainer of TFT Israel Rwanda, shared ideas with TFT Israel therapists trained at Mutete sector of Gicumbi district. All together visited Mutete Memorial Center of 1994 Tutsi genocide in Rwanda, where the bodies of victims are laid. Mutete sector is most affected with 1994 Tutsi genocide atrocities in the whole Gicumbi district. TFT Israel Rwanda trained 27 therapists and treated 347 people at Mutete sector. On 6th August 2018, the Bishop of Byumba Diocese, Celevelien Nzakamwita, officially opened the third TFT training session organized by TFT Israel Rwanda.
Aya mahugurwa rero akaba ariyo aje kuduha imbaraga no kuduha ubumenyi.
This training comes to strengthen us and give us skills to implement good relationship between people, counseling them and treating them. This year, the vision of Byumba Diocese, as well as other dioceses in Rwanda, is to promote unity among Rwandans, teaching them to reconcile whenever disagreements occur and learning to ask for forgiveness. The victim has to learn to forgive, forgiveness that we get from God, and the criminal has to remember to ask for forgiveness and to repent. This training will provide the knowledge of recognizing where someone did wrong or he or she was wronged.
TFT Israel Rwanda members, assisted with Pastor Deborah New, Dr. Callan DeFontes, Mrs. Stephanie Sakai, and Dr. Caroline E. Sakai, trained tapping techniques of TFT to 32 therapists who are social workers, nurses, and psychologists from Rwanda Correction Service, which is RCS, psychologists from Rwanda Psychology Society, which is RPS, and social workers from Caritas of Byumba Diocese. After class session, trainees were split in groups to exercise themselves on how to treat patients by using new TFT techniques learned and to complete each other where a gap of skills is. Father Augustine Nzabonimana, the director of TFT Israel Rwanda, explains why this training is repeatedly organized to psychologists and social workers from RCS in Rwanda.
Nk'aba bagororwa barimo hano icyo tuba dushaka nuko umugororwa
Our wish is to prepare a prisoner mentally in order to make him or her being convinced with the life change to be faced so that the prisoner cannot become a burden to the prison or to the prison guards and to the country. We want to transform him or her to a productive person who can do some works inside the prison. And after prison, that person can be able to be self-reliant and to contribute to the development of the country.
agera muri sosiyete ageremo ari umuntu ushobora kugira ibintu akora agateza imbere igihugu nawe akiteza imbere.
On 7th August 2018, TFT trainees went to a field at Nyamiyaga sector in Byumba diocese to put in practice the skills learned from the class. They treated 243 patients composed of single mothers, widows among them 1994 to genocide, known as Brides of Christ, and 3 other patients who were in need to be taken care of. Father JMV Dushimimana, the director of Caritas of Byumba diocese, explained the motivation that pushed the diocese to organize TFT training and the impact of bringing trainees on the field.
The support given by our partners from America, we wished it to reach many people who are our volunteers. We well know that there are several people who help detainees, but for us, we train prison workers such as prison guards, psychologists, and nurses so that a big number of prisoners with mental disorders could be helped.
Some of the trainees expressed their feelings after treatment session on the field at Nyamiyaga sector. I helped a 22 years single mother. Her mother mistreated her because of her status. She often tells her to bring back the kid to his father. When she misses what to say, she immediately starts crying. I taught her how to use TFT techniques whenever she's desperate.
narushijeho kubyumva neza aho ngeze kuri tele aho nakiriye umukobwa wabyariye iwabo yaje arira cyane.
I deeply understood TFT techniques when I treated a single mother who was in deep grief. She told us that her parents are HIV positive. Her 3 siblings are also single mothers and they do not have a house to live in. After treating her with TFT techniques, she became comfortable to tell us her enjoyment of being HIV negative with her kid. The skills learned will help me to assist prisoners with several trauma problems. When a detainee reaches inside the prison, even if she or he was a normal person, she or he starts showing some signs of depression because of that uncomfortable life she or he faces. So, TFT techniques are used to treat prisoners in order to persuade them to accept a new life in jail.
iyi TFT birushaho kugufasha cyane ko umugororwa aba aje muri gereza yumva ameze nkaho aje ahantu
nkurikije ibyo twize mu ishuri ejo n'ibyo nabonye kuri tele.
If I compare skills learned yesterday in class and the experience on the field, they complete each other. Patients treated have different illnesses which can be cured by TFT techniques learned yesterday. We used some of them for treatment and the results are obvious. We got a big lesson from this practical exercise done. After balancing some crises met and the theory learnt, I believe that I am able to help prisoners with mental disorders.
Twagiye dusanga hari ibice ushobora gukomangaho ugakomanga uvura depression.
I found out that there are some parts of the body to tap in order to treat depression, phobia, and insomnia. These techniques are used for occupational therapy to a patient with personality disorders who thinks to be alone in a prison of 1,000 detainees. A patient suffering from loneliness can treat alone with these TFT techniques and after a while without noticing it, he or she would find her or himself coming back to the normal life with the community. It is too hard to believe the efficiency of these TFT techniques at the first sight. But after a short period, a patient starts telling how helpful these techniques were. He or she begins joining some groups or clubs inside the prison.
bakakubwira ati ubu rwose ndi umuntu uri mu bandi, nagiye mu itsinda runaka, nagiye muri club runaka kubera ko nakoresheje ubu buryo mva aha ngeza.
kandi abagororwa nangwa imfungwa mu by'ukuri mbere y'uko akora icyaha aba yari muzima.
Before being imprisoned, a detainee was a normal person who became abnormal after committing a crime. This correction service means to change a criminal into a new person. The skills to change someone's behavior need some particular trainings on mental health problems and behavior change. We have many people living with trauma, and even a criminal could show some signs of trauma. A criminal can be traumatized by remembering what he or she did or a long time that he or she has spent in prison. In that case, RCS trainees and current social workers approach them for treatment. For me, I believe that these trainees will help prisoners a lot.
nkaba mbona ko aba bantu bahabwa amahugurwa ndetse bazakomeza no kuyahabwa, hari kinini bazageza ku mfungwa n'abagororwa.
Miss Adrienne Nahayo, a psychologist and trainer of TFT Izere Rwanda, explains why this field exercise is crucial to these TFT trainees.
ndabona iyi gahunda izabafasha ibintu byinshi cyane kuko iyo bageze kuri tere bakagera mu bantu.
This exercise on the field will help trainees a lot as they treated patients with different problems. So, this practical lesson will help them to treat people with similar cases met. Today, skills are different from what we gave them last time. Before, we taught them how to receive a client, but today they learned how to discover patients' problems for treatment by using TFT tests. This part is relevant to treat clients day after day.
icyo ni ikintu gikomeye cyane kandi kizabagirira akamaro mu rwego rwo kubasha gufasha abo bantu babagana umunsi ku munsi.
Dr. Caroline Isakai, who is a pioneer of TFT in Rwanda and who has come in Rwanda 7 times, enjoyed the fruits of her commitment to help people in need.
I am so amazed at seeing the great progress that has been made here at Izere Center. When we first came, we are overwhelmed by seeing the poverty, the pain, the trauma, all the suffering. And we had very sad faces, very depressed, very much the signs of the traumas and pain and suffering that people had gone through. And they are now in beautiful colors, they are smiling, they are very energetic and singing and dancing. And to hear their stories and their testimonies of not only how they have healed from the traumas and the hurt and the pain, but to see how they are now being focused on sustainability, being able to become more independent financially and otherwise, and also to be working on helping others, to be really, this is an inspiration for all of us to see how a nation can heal itself, with this community being a leader, and to see how you are the model for hope, Izere, for the world, because to see what can be done is just so heartwarming and amazing.
On 8th August 2018, TFT Izere Rwanda staff, TFT practitioners from Hawaii in United States of America, and some prisons, psychologists and social workers visited Rubavu prison. This visit intended to evaluate if TFT skills learned from the first and the second phases have been put in action to improve psychosocial lives of prisoners.
I am convicted with 1994 Tutsi genocide crime. I really did it and I confessed for it. When I reached here in prison, I heard that my wife cohabited with another man and had together a kid. Consequently, I was despaired without someone to comfort me. Moreover, I am HIV positive. I suffered from mental disorders and I have no family relative to visit me, so I isolated myself from the community. By the grace of God, social workers Delphine and Furaha brought TFT techniques treatment. We often meet every Thursday of every week. TFT techniques helped us a lot. I told you my illness, how I have no one to visit me, but after being treated, I have accepted my life here.
On 9th August 2018, the whole team again visited Musanze prison for the same purpose as said above. This prison differs from Rubavu prison because both women and men are kept inside according to their blocks. Isabelle Nzaimondo, a mother of 7 children, is jailed to 30 years in prison. She shares her experience in prison before TFT tapping techniques helped her to endure her burden of imprisonment. I had fear when I reached here in prison. I was thinking about my children left at home without any parent to take care of them. So, I started suffering from a headache. I used to go to the hospital for treatment, but drugs given had no any efficacy on my suffering. I was thinking about my little kid left at age of 7 and a long time to be spent here. Therefore, it was impossible to sleep. After being treated by TFT tapping techniques, I now sleep and now teach women of my age to treat themselves. As a result, they taught me that they now feel comfortable. I left loneliness, thinking about what I left outside, and I am now a teacher of vocation trainings. Pastor Deborah knew, after visiting Rwanda, she was amazed with what TFT Izere Rwanda is doing to change people's lives in Rwanda.
I have a connection to the Rwandans. I am native in Hawaii. I am native within America. There's also native Indians. So we have similar plights. We have similar types of genocide. So even more, it's deeper within me. And I intend to return, tend to work with Father Jean to expand programs, because I know there's great need here. And I have a great love for children. I want to make sure children and mothers sort of stay connected. So I'm looking for other avenues and programs for the prisons. Because for them to live outside of prison, there has to be a stepping stone. And there's a lot more needed. There needs to be another program before they're out, is to teach them skills. But if we can teach the skills within the prison, then there needs more funding. So I will stay connected with Caritas, Father John, and hopefully we can expand for Rwanda.
Since 2009, TFT Izere Rwanda has trained 175 therapists and treated 6,859 people.